guys, welcome to the program. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Pete Hegseth, the head of the Department of War, recently renamed from the Department of Defense, has said this is it. We're making some changes. No more wokes, no more fatties, no more weak women, nobody that can't meet the high male standards of the military. No more fat generals, no more fat officers. We're gutting the system. Now, you can say, well, that's always a good thing. We need to have everybody in fighting shape. But it's also a way to weed out weaklings. It's a way to weed out the woke. It's a way to weed out anybody that's not on board with physical fitness and PT and the military mindset, which I think is going to end up having a lot of people bail that we don't want in the military in the first place. This is the return of masculinity. It's the return of men. It's a return of standards. It's the return of a true fighting force. And I think this is something the military needs. And I think they're specifically doing this, even as Trump says, not because of enemies abroad. This isn't about China or going to war with Russia. It's about going to war with the enemy within, meaning the left, the communism, everything else that's going on, the woke, the DEI, everything. It's gone. And they're going to be going after it big time. I'll do the TLDR, which is an article I'll read from, but I have several clips of Pete Hegseth speaking to all the generals. They called in all of our generals from around the world. He wanted to have a face-to-face with them. He's released some of them from active duty already. He demoted them and removed them. Said, why don't you go ahead and retire? Because their agenda was the woke agenda. And in the past, at least recently here, over the last 4 to 8 years, it was if you regurgitate the woke agenda, that's how you get promotion. That's how you get your rank. You've got to be part of the party. And he said, no more of that. That's done. And if what I'm saying hurts your feelings, get out. Get the hell out. And so I'm all about this. Before we jump into the main story, let's hear from today's sponsor, MHO1, to meet all your energy needs in a nice, easy supplement. Guys, today's sponsor is an awesome product called MHO1. MHO1 Daily is a premium brain and focus formula designed to support clarity, concentration, and everyday energy. It's a simple 2-capsule-a-day routine that fits into any lifestyle, whether you're working, gaming, studying, or creating videos like I do. If you've ever felt mentally drained halfway through the day, this might be the game changer you need. How often do stress and distraction control your day instead of you being in control? How often do you waste your time doom scrolling while your mind is unable to focus on anything meaningful? That was me not long ago, constantly drained and unfocused. But then I tried MHO1, the brain and focus formula, and things started to shift. This stuff supports mental focus and alertness. It encourages a sense of calm without drowsiness. It helps reduce feelings of stress, and it's backed by thoughtfully chosen ingredients for focus, stress support, and energy. Guys, I've been taking it for a week now. I'm feeling sharp and focused. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen that you see right now to get 25% off your first order and free shipping on your first month for U.S. customers. Pause the video if you need to. Make sure to scan that in, and the web address is down below as always. You get focus and alertness, sense of calm without feeling edgy, and it helps reduce feelings of stress, all delivered straight to your door. It's as easy as that. So check out the links down below. All right, so Pete Hegseth instates highest male standard only for combat and other changes, declaring Department of Defense is over. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth announced on Tuesday that all combat personnel would be required to meet the highest male standard in order to maintain their positions. He said, we're training warriors, not defenders. We fight wars to win, not defend. Defense is something you do all the time. It's inherently reactionary and can lead to overuse, overreach, and mission creep. War is something you do sparingly on our own terms with clear aims. Now, part of the reason he's saying this is because we dabble in other countries. We get involved. We've got to defend this region. We've got to go in and make sure this group of people versus this group of people, well, we like these groups, so we're going to defend them against the other group. He said that's done. We either need to go in, declare war, do what we need to do and get out, or we just don't go in at all. And this is becoming a more nationalistic position, which a lot of people want right now. We're tired of policing the world and our tax dollars to police the world. And let's be frank, a lot of other countries are tired of us policing them as well. He goes on to talk about PT, physical training. He said every member needs to hold up to the same standards, including generals. He said, look, if I can do it, then you can do it. I'm going to just play down through these clips. But before I get into that, when Trump won, Army recruiting hits record highs after Trump's win. Now, I'm not diving into the politics portion of this, but it does say a lot of people, young men especially, that want to have patriotism and fight for their country and defend our country are conservative men. Anyway, from Benny Johnson, let me just play up this clip for you. I'll zoom it up just a hair so we can see it a little bit better.
The best way to take care of troops is to give them good leaders committed to the warfighting culture of the department. Not perfect leaders, good leaders. Competent, qualified, professional, agile, aggressive, innovative, risk-taking, apolitical, faithful to their oath and to the Constitution. The military has been forced by foolish and reckless politicians to focus on the wrong things. In many ways, this speech is about fixing decades of decay. Some of it obvious, some of it hidden. For too long, we've promoted too many uniformed leaders for the wrong reasons. Based on their race, based on gender quotas, based on historic so-called firsts. Foolish and reckless political leaders set the wrong compass heading, and we lost our way. We became the woke department.
He continues on. I've got a couple more clips from him, but as you can hear, it's no more politics, no more woke, no more putting the first, guy that identifies as a woman in this role, leading this, it's the first transgender general or whatever. We're done with that stuff. And of course, he's saying it very politically correct, but in some of his other speeches, he's not quite as politically correct. And I'm liking the way that this message is coming across because it does admit, look, we have certain standards. If you're on and he gets into this, but I want to mention this ahead of time. He says, look, if you're a woman on the battlefield and you can't carry your rucksack and drag your fellow male combatant off the field, you don't belong there. If you're fat, you don't belong there. If you can't meet the physical needs of a combatant, you don't belong there. You can go do something behind the lines. You can go be a desk jockey or something like that. You have to meet minimum standards. And he even goes so far as to say, look, if you're a weak man that can't keep up with the fighting force that we need on the field, fine, you're not going to be on the fighting field. You'll be, again, guarding a file cabinet somewhere in the Pentagon. I like this message because it is finally admitting the truth again. You need men, you need masculinity, you need testosterone, you need strength, you need warrior will. And these mamby-pamby silly rules that we've come up with over the last couple of decades are not cutting it. Recruiting was down, and I've done videos on recruiting, but recruiting was so bad, they said, okay, we're going to take someone now that can't read or write. We're going to take someone that can't meet the physical standards. We're going to take someone that's overweight. And they just kept lowering and lowering and lowering the standards, making it unsafe. And for the real warriors, the real patriots that wanted to sign up and actually defend our country, many people, myself included, would say, I'd never have any of these people by my side watching my six. But since they're changing all of this, recruiting has gone way up, and now we have people that actually want to be a fighting force. Not because they want necessarily to go to war or something, but because they have pride in their nation and they want to serve, and it is a good way to get discipline and train yourself for the future. There were a few things I took away from the military, even though I didn't like it. And I still don't think the military is right for everybody, that's for sure. If you're very free-willed and a high-thinking individual, better go get a college degree and go in as an officer. And even then, you're going to struggle. You won't make it as a grunt if you have good ideas. I'm just saying.
I don't want my son serving alongside troops who are out of shape, or in combat unit with females who can't meet the same combat arms physical standards as men, or troops who are not fully proficient on their assigned weapons, platform, or task. When it comes to combat arms units, and there are many different stripes across our joint force, the era of politically correct, overly sensitive, don't hurt anyone's feelings leadership ends right now. At every level, either you can meet the standard, either you can do the job, either you are disciplined, fit, and trained, or you are out. Today, at my direction, each service will ensure that every requirement for every combat MOS for every designated combat arms position returns to the highest male standard only. Today, at my direction, we are also adding a combat field test for combat arms units that must be executable in any environment at any time and with combat equipment. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test.
So as you can hear, he's stepping up the standards not just for combat-ready fighters, but there is going to be basic standards for all military, as well as the leadership. And this is how you get the weak ones out. This is how you get the ones that are a little bit on the fence. I don't really like what he's saying. I don't really agree with the getting the woke out. I want to keep the woke in. And I'm also out of shape. You know something? Maybe it's time for me to retire. Maybe I'm just done. I think this is a great way to weed out the weaklings. But it continues on.
No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. As I've said before, and will say again, we are done with that shit.
A great way to put it. Right down. And he says right here, and this is the part where he talks about male standards. And if men can't even make the male standards, you're out.
This, and I want to be very clear about this, this is not about preventing women from serving. We very much value the impact of female troops. Our female officers and NCOs are the absolute best in the world. But what
best in the world for female officers, because most true, real, good militaries don't have any females in them. So what he's saying is, well, they're the best women in the world, sure, but they're the worst men, in my opinion.
When it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it. That is not the intent, but it could be the result, so be it. It will also mean that weak men won't qualify because we're not playing games. To be an effective, lethal fighting force, you must trust that the warrior alongside you in battle is capable, truly physically capable of doing what is necessary under fire.
Now, I think this is what's kept a lot of young guys, especially ones that care about their country and want to defend. This is what's kept a lot of young men out. Young men today are more conservative than any generation, I think, in history, like on record, that more young men are now more traditional, more conservative, more patriotic, more loving of their country, and they'd like to join. But when they look and they see an effeminate guy with pink nails and blue hair or whatever, and yes, I've seen some very, very strange looking military members, as it were, because standards have slipped so much.
U.S. Navy is approaching a drag queen influencer to help persuade new recruits into joining the military. Yeoman Second Class Joshua Kelly, who goes by Harpy Daniels, announced back in November that he was the Navy's new digital ambassador. Their attempts to increase interest among young people amongst a historic recruitment crisis. A survey from the Ronald Reagan Institute found that only 13% of 18 to 29-year-olds are highly willing to join the military.
And in another video, he said, we're done with that too. If you're a weak guy, well, you can go be in the back office. I'm just rattling down through these clips so you can get the highlight of where this country is going. Here's Pete Hegseth telling, look, if you're not in with this stuff, just resign, get out now.
But if the words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign. We would thank you for your service. But I suspect, I know, the overwhelming majority of you feel the opposite.
So what this means overall is we're just done with it. We're done with all the things that have torn apart our military. As you know, President Trump's getting them out of, or trying to get them out of the school system. He's trying to get it out of the government. And now with the government shutdown, if depending on how long the government shutdown carries on, he may be able to fire several 100,000 more wastes of our tax dollars, of all these NGOs and these diversity stuff and all these departments that are basically have just turned into welfare for workers, being government handouts. I think they have to go 60 days of shutdown, and then they can go ahead. And so, of course, the Democrats will fold before that happens. I guarantee you that. But Trump does recognize the problem with woke infiltration and the left. And I when I talk about left, I'm not talking about, oh, you're a Democrat and you kind of like, I don't know, free health care and letting immigrants come in. That's not the left I'm talking about. I'm talking about the left that goes out and throws riots against federal buildings for 100 days. I'm talking about a left that goes out there and cheers for the ending of a political opponent or somebody like Charlie Kirk. That's the left I'm talking about. And Trump recognizes that we have that leftist problem, that we have that poison in the system. And he even says, look, we're going after that next.
Defending the homeland is the military's first and most important priority. That's what it is. Only in recent decades did politicians somehow come to believe that our job is to police the far reaches of Kenya and Somalia, while America is under invasion from within. We're under invasion from within. No different than a foreign enemy, but more difficult in many ways because they don't wear uniforms. At least when they're wearing a uniform, you can take them out. These people don't have uniforms. But we are under invasion from within. We're stopping it very quickly.
I think one thing that Trump understands, and I think many others understand, is that at a certain point, we need to get the radical groups, both right and left, the radical groups under control. As of right now, I haven't seen too much by radical groups on the right. They exist. I'm sure they're out there. I'm sure that they have much hate in their heart. But I haven't seen much actually done as far as going out and taking out political enemies or cheering about their destruction. And yes, we can have little arguments here and there about it, about what it means and what they actually want. But we are seeing a rash of harm going against ICE agents. People are going up and, taking shots at facilities, taking shots at ABC News. They're taking shots at Border Patrol. I forget the one where somebody had some sort of a device on one of the CPB or CBP facilities down by the border. It's happening over and over and over again. And at a certain point, you have to say, we can't allow our own governmental agencies and our own police forces to be attacked by the citizenry without stopping that. And I'm quite sure if somebody is on the left and the left was in power and you had roving bands of, I don't know, some conservative group taking shots at the government, you'd want that quashed too. We need to rein in all of this. And as of recently, it seems it's a lot more on the left, especially with ICE, especially with Border Patrol, especially with police officers. And Trump's saying, no more. We're going to clean this up. We cannot have these lawless streets and criminals getting arrested and dumped back out to the streets to be on a subway car sticking a blade into a Ukrainian girl's neck, to be able to take out somebody like Charlie Kirk, to be able to take shots at ICE facilities and officers doing what is mandated by the federal government. That is terrorism. You can't do that. And Trump is basically saying, look, we're going to be doing this. If you want to be in this military, this is what we're going to be doing. And if it hurts your feelings, just get out. Get out and pack in. And whether the left wants to call this, I don't know, a coup or whatever else they could label it, it's no different than Biden or Obama or anybody else going in and mandating that you hire people based on the color of their skin. I mean, that's pretty insidious. It's no different than saying, well, we're going to make this guy that is now a woman or thinks he's a woman, we're going to put him in charge of the Navy. We're going to put somebody like that in charge. You can't do that. Joe Rogan, as a matter of fact, this is a 1:25 clip. I'll play this to kind of play us out. Joe Rogan Joe Rogan's in tune with politics. He is way more left-leaning than I am. And even he says, look, we can't keep going like this.
Supposedly what they're doing is they want to get all the generals together and give them some sort of a moral and ethical mandate.
Yeah.
Like preparedness. This is what we want the military to be.
No more beards and stuff.
No more politics and no more identity politics and bullshit. The most important thing is be ready. Yeah. Be ready, have the best, most capable military that's humanly possible given the resources that we have today. This is what our goal is. This is where our job is.
And they needed to call everybody together to do that?
Well, you saw what the f was going on over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
You got guys in dresses talking about how it's really important to have inclusiveness. It's the most important thing about the military is inclusivity. Like we had crazy people that were in charge of very important positions, including that guy that was stealing women's clothes.
Yeah.
That guy was in charge of like nuclear waste, and he's running around stealing people's underwear.
The panty raid.
With lipstick and a bald head.
Something else that Pete, then that reminded me what he was talking about there. Something else that Pete Hegseth said that was very, very important is he said in the military, diversity is not our strength. He said, doesn't matter the color of your skin, doesn't matter male, female, none of those things matter. What matters is that our unity is our strength, that we are all one unit. We think the same, we act the same, we are the same, at least when we're doing our duty. He said after that, doesn't matter. But while we're in this service and while we're doing this, unity is our strength. It's not diversity. We do not need a diversity. The other thing he said that was pretty important as well, when he was questioned about what about men that identify as women, women identify as men, don't they deserve to be in the service as well? And he just basically said, no, we do not allow people that have mental health issues to be active duty in this military.
Now, General Kane, I'd like to turn to you.
So to be clear, these are men who think they're women.
These are women. I'm happy to educate you on
but these are men,
on trans
and so
issues at another
what we've
time.
identified is that there's mental health issues with that belief system.
I'd like to turn to General
are
Kane
detrimental
now.
to readiness, and that's the determination that we've made and that we stand behind. Gender dysphoria.
And so you don't.
It's based. And so overall, I think this is a great thing. Me personally, I'd have to see a lot of changes to the military before I would ever recommend it to somebody, unless you're a young man who doesn't want to go to college or maybe doesn't have the aptitude or the ability, and you need some stiffening up. You need to learn how to have some self-control and some discipline and to be toughened up a little bit. The military will do that for you. Now, you could probably get the same thing going into a daily routine at the gym, whether it's, CrossFit or whatever. You can go into some programs that will help you do that. But the military is good because not only do you get that, you can get some money for college, although I think college is almost irrelevant anymore. And you get to get paid while you're doing it. For me as a young man, I did the military. Going back to where I was, like if you asked me today, would I do it again? My answer is no. But going back to where I was at that point in my life, I'd probably do it again. It toughened me up. It gave me an opportunity to get some experience under my belt. As an 18, or I think I signed up at 18, I actually went off to get trained when I was 19. I think I'd do it again because I needed some guidance in my life. And it's not that my parents didn't give me guidance. It's just I didn't know what I wanted to do. I felt kind of lost. This at least got me kick-started. And the great thing is you can't quit. So if you need a good kick in your pants, this is one way to get it done. Anyway, I think this is good. I think it's a toughening of our ranks. I think it's toughening of our men. It will fill the military and hopefully our halls of government a little bit more with some of the people with the right things and the right attitudes and the right way to think about a country versus the hot mess we've seen in the past. So hopefully this goes well. Guys, don't forget, if you are enjoying my content, make sure to join us on betterbachelor.locals.com. You can just give once $5 and check it out for a month. You can subscribe for $5 a month if you want to hang around for a while, but you can test it out for just a couple bucks a month. Come on over and join a great group of like-minded men. And if you decide you like it, hey, you can get a discount by signing up for a year with us. We have a ton of really awesome, great guys over there. We have so much fun. We do so many events that we don't do over here on the internet. And we almost do an event, every other night. Wednesday we got one, Friday we got one, Saturday we got one, where we just hang out. We watch sports, we watch movies, we watch UFC, and we chat, we hang out. It gives you a little bit of a friend group. So if you find yourself not having anything to do many nights of the week, maybe you're feeling a little down, a little lonely, and you just want some other like-minded guys to joke around with and hang out with, come on over and join up. It puts us behind a paywall. It allows us to do things you can't do over on Rumble or YouTube. It's a great place to be, and I think you'd like it very, 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 very much. So come on over, check it out today, and I'll see you guys in the next one.